Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy. We've got this F-150 STX with some very tasteful mods that makes this the perfect F-150 to buy. I'll include a link to the Larry Miller Super Ford's website in the description down below. They're providing us with this truck. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get right into it. Under the hood, we have a 2.7 liter turbo V6 that goes through a 10-speed. Fuel economy is 18 around town, 23 on the highway, with power outputs being 325 horsepower and then 400 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. First off, this F-150 is finished in this bright silver paint job, which I think looks pretty darn sharp. The STX package does come with the base lights, but you do get fog lights too, as well as this darker colored grille, and we've got recovery points at the bottom. And so with a lot of the darker elements, the front end looks pretty darn sporty. Tire and wheel setup is 295 by 60 by 20. You've got the silver there on the outside of the wheel with the metallic gray in the center. And this truck is equipped with a leveling kit. You also get the cool F-150 STX badge here on the side. And with that leveling kit, it is even front to rear with the stance. Now this does have Ford's more basic key fobs. You got the Ford logo, flip out key there, lock and unlock function on the front too. And with the tailgate, it is not dampened, so you do have to lower it down under your own strength. We've got an outlet here in the bed. This already has protection as well in the form of bed liner. And this truck also has a tonneau cover added to it. This does come with more baseline taillights, but they did body paint the bumper. And so when you put all the elements together, like I said, I think this is a pretty good looking truck with the exterior. But now let's check out the interior. A nice soft touch here on the armrest. You got a little cup holder here, plenty of storage below. And the STX comes with these custom seats with lots of yellow accenting the air cloth. Plenty of storage here in the back. This one is the crew cab configuration. You also have plenty of legroom. We've got some cup holders back here, vents, and some charging ports with a full outlet. The headroom back here is also good. So now let's check out the front. More nice soft touch trim on the door panel. Front two windows are automatic. This also has your door lock and unlock there on the door. Blind spot monitoring with the mirrors and more storage here at the bottom of the door panel. 1591 is the payload capacity. And then you've got more of that yellow stitching and accenting here with the front seats. They are manual, by the way, with the adjustment. You can turn off the auto stop start if you want. You've got all of your light controls, and the steering wheel is manually adjustable too. And yep, we got the flip out key, which you gotta stick in the ignition the old school way. Ford logo there, front and center on the steering wheel. A little bit more of the basic trim around the steering wheel. You do get practical controls here on the front for the center screen, and then we've got our cruise control here on the other side with our volume and voice command controls. Turn signal, windshield wiper stock, and then we do have a column shifter with a manual shift function. Full digital gauge cluster, just like other modern F-150s, customizable in terms of the information you can display in the center. And then it also has an animation for the different drive modes. There's drive modes for both on-road, off-road use, and towing, and even sporty driving. Backup camera in reverse, really good resolution with the camera system. As for the infotainment system, there is a shortcut bar here at the bottom. There's also this auxiliary tab, which you can scroll through and change what that displays. We have a little coin holder here, and then our drive line select. This is a part-time four-wheel drive system with a rear locking differential. Analog controls for the radio, also for the climate, single zone climate with this truck. A few USB ports there, and then we've got some more storage here, and we have this giant center console in the center. More basic trim on the dash, but you do have some storage there, and including storage, or topic of storage, we got more above the glove box. Manual, mirror dimmer, and then no buttons for the rear window because that stuff doesn't open, and no sunroof either. So base MSRP on this is $52,665. After the accessories that include bed liner, tonneau, leveling kit, and tires, it's $56,660 for the total price. Let's see how this STX performs. Old school. Gotta stick the key in the ignition. And got to adjust the seat manually too. I will say, I'm not a fan of Ford's column shifter. It sometimes is hard to get it. Let me see if I can show this to you. Okay, so I want to go from reverse back to drive. I've got my foot on the brake. Notice how I have to go back down and then back up. So again, reverse. Can't just, I mean, can kind of, but sometimes it just doesn't want to go from reverse, or sorry, from reverse to park. If you have a chance to drive one of these with a column shifter, you understand what I'm talking about. It's just not always the most precise. It's sometimes a bit of a drama queen. That would be the best way to describe it. Bit of a drama queen. So we'll see how this performs with the level kit. That is going to change the overall ride, because normally you've got a bit of a rake with the F-150s where the back end sits higher than the front end, which is how you set up a truck for towing with leaf springs. If you have them level front to rear, well, when you load up the rear, when those leafs have the compression on them, well, then the truck sits level. But is that the radio? Okay, I was gonna say, I hope that crackling's not coming from the truck, but that was the radio. Anyways, yeah, if you have it level like this, well, once you load up those leafs enough, then the front's gonna sit higher than the rear, and that's going to change the driving dynamics quite a bit. If you have a vehicle that's raked towards the, I'm just talking about this for ride quality's sake. If you have a vehicle that's raked where the front is lower than the back, it actually doesn't ride all that bad. Now, if you have a vehicle level, again, rides nice. If a vehicle tilted this way, it is going to make it so the ride quality is not quite as good. Again, this is level. I'm just saying, once you load it up, that'll affect things a bit. And it makes sense, right? Because if you have the back end unloaded and slightly higher in elevation than the front end, well, when you go over bumps, right, the front's going to do what the front's going to do, and the back has plenty of space to move up and down. But if the back is squatted down, that's what I call squatted trucks, then you go over a bump and the front has some space to move, but the back end is not going to have the space to move, and so then it's going to feel firmer, it's going to feel stiffer, really. It's a better way to put it. Man, I cannot see past my price sticker. So that's basically why squatted trucks drive like crap, and that's just something to note with a leveled truck. Is here, I mean, it drives fine. It's comfortable. It drives like a normal F-150. It's just if you really load this up, you max out that payload capacity, then you're going to be in for a, not a horrible ride, it's just not going to be as comfy. Now, I think this is a really cool alternative to doing a Tremor, because this has the rear locking diff, and you put all-terrain tires on this, and yeah, it doesn't have the fancy Tremor shocks, but I mean, an F-150 is still a body-on-frame truck that has a solid rear axle, so it's still, like, in its base format, it's still a capable off-road vehicle. So you have this with the rear locking diff and some nice all-terrain tires like this. Obviously the 20-inch wheels are a little bit bigger for off-roading, but this is kind of like an in-between, like, look good on the street and then also have some off-road capability. But the point that I'm trying to make here is, you put this all together and this is a truck that does the Tremor stuff, but this is well over $10,000 less than the least expensive Tremor that I've reviewed. Because I think the least expensive Tremor I've seen is like 67, 68,000. So yeah, this is well, yeah, 56. Yeah, so yeah, this is over $10,000 less. I was gonna say, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 56. So saves you quite a bit of change. I will say, over the big bumps, again, one thing with the leveling kit, because you're extending, what you're doing is you're decreasing down travel with the front end. You're extending the front up a little bit. It does feel a little bit stiffer on the front end compared to a stock truck. That is one downside with the front end in terms of leveling, and it's independent front suspension, so your travel's already going to be limited because of the independent suspension, and that's going to limit it a little bit more. It's not enough to where I'm like, oh man, this truck's undrivable. It's just, it's noticeable compared to a stock truck. But it's something that you can see. Again, there's certain things that you concede for looks or for utility. This is definitely a looks over utility type deal, but that's okay, right? That's part of truck ownership. You got to have something that you like looking at, especially when you're spending over 50 grand. And this 2.7 has no trouble moving these tires. I mean, a 295 by 60 by 20, that's like a 30, I think it's like a, I think that'd be technically a 33, maybe even almost a 34. It's 33 or 34. It's a decent sized tire. And the 2.7s had no trouble moving it. Powers felt really good, smooth as well with the 10 speed. I do like the 2.7 quite a bit. I think it's a pretty underrated powertrain. It gets good fuel economy. It's got good power. It's not as exciting as the 3.5 EcoBoost, but saves you a little bit of money. Like I said, it still gets the job done. So let me guys think about this truck with the leveling kit and the 2.7 V6. But I think this is a nice build, and again, this gives you a very similar look and similar capability to a Tremor without having to pay almost $70,000 for a Tremor. So it's kind of like an affordable everyman's Tremor.